on how racing works, to keep it safe for you, and to keep it safe for them, and to keep it safe for the other members of the IGSA International Racing Fraternity. So I'm going to hand over to a really top guy, and I'm going to thank him in advance for taking part in this. Patrick Switzer, #1 at the minute.
Oh, #2 today.
Who's going to kick off, and then I've got Will Stevenson, who's a top luge rider, and I've also got Mischo, who's standing right here, okay, world champ at the minute, who's going to help as well.
If you're first time racing, it gets a little antsy sometimes. You really got to calm yourself down, take it easy. It's not crazy. A lot of times when things happen wrong during your run, it's because you're all worked up and you can't just focus and relax. If you wouldn't do it for your riding, don't do it during a race. Look around at the people you're racing against. Check the people beside you. Are you regular? Are you goofy? Are you wearing old wheels? Do you think the person's fast? Do you think they're slow? Do you know the person? Do you know their riding style? Have you been free riding with them? And you know their style a bit. You know, if you're not really comfortable, know your own strategy for your own body type, your own style, where you want to be. But know where people are throughout the track. Keep your eyes around. If someone's passing on the inside, give them the inside. Let them pass. Don't make any sketchy moves. If you're going to do something that you think will mess up the people behind you, put your hand up, look behind, give them way. If you don't feel comfortable, move out of the line. If you don't know what a line is, I'm sure we can.
Like Patrick said, just keep an eye out for a few things. You are responsible for your own kind of run down the hill, and if even simple stuff from the start line, if somebody has their shoe near you, don't be afraid to say, could you give me some space? Just make sure that you're comfortable on the line and you have your own space to push. But with the regular and goofy pushing, know that you could come together, and these kind of things might happen. Further down on the course, once you get going, everybody's different. It's not like I can take advice from somebody that's going to tell me that I can blow through a turn full speed because I weigh maybe twice as much as them or you're lighter. So don't always take advice unless you have somebody that's about the same body type or whatever, and you can't mimic somebody else. And even if you think they're the best rider in the world, they still can crash. I've done it before. I've been like, oh, that guy's good. He's won a bunch of races. Follow him, and he crashed on the first run, right into the back. It was a practice run, so it was fine. But you can't just gauge yourself like that. For the whole run, you are your own unit. You're responsible for yourself, but you're also responsible for the safety of others. So don't put other people into bad positions that you wouldn't want to be in. If somebody's pinching you off and you've made them well aware that you're there, you wouldn't do that to somebody else either. So the other thing is, when you're going down, there's a start line and a finish line. The race doesn't have to be won within the first few meters of the race. So if you think that you need to win this race by passing in the first turn and that's going to put everybody in an awkward situation, realize that there's more turns down the road that you could capitalize on a better speed and maybe just air brake a bit. Everybody forgets that you can brake, and everybody's afraid of losing speed because we're a gravity sport. The speed that you have at the top is the given speed you have, and your aerodynamics work with that. So you just have to realize that you can gain it somewhere else, and you don't have to rush into the first turn. I've been taken out in the first turn by guys that are pretty good at racing, but it's still just one of those questions. Why the first turn? There's 5 more turns that you could have passed on, capitalized, and you guys are going to get all the experience that you need. So just race safe, and remember, you've got other people around you, and just be aware.
Dasha, do you want to say something?
Yeah, just quickly about passing for anyone who doesn't know. I mean, if you haven't read the IGSA rule book, the person in front of you definitely has a priority for the line. So if you're going to pass them on the inside, if there's any risk of wheels rubbing, anything like that, I don't know. The official rules are that as soon as your front wheels are in front of their back wheels, that's when you have to give way. So no cutting them off at that point.
That's correct.
But as long as you're in front of them, you have the priority, you have that line. So.
Okay, that's exactly right.
And when someone is passing, give them the right of way, but then you can strategize 2 corners down the road to pass them instead of cutting them to the edge of the road or doing something sketchy that not only puts yourself in danger, but the person beside you, also the people behind you, the spectators on the side of the road. And just like Norman said, it's a family. You want to take care of each other. If someone's about to fall beside you and you have the chance to put an arm on them and steady them, do it. You don't want to see people crash and get hurt. If you're falling, and like I had it yesterday, I crashed in the middle of the road, and there's guys right behind me about to bash me. I turned around, First thing, look straight up the road. Eye contact with the guys coming towards me. They were able to get around me. I didn't move, let them make the first direction, the first avoidance, and then picked up my board and got off the road. Make sure, then again, when you get going again, there's someone else coming around the corner. Give time for the next rider to come down. This is more free ride when you're not sure when people are coming.
On clapping is kind of like a horn. Don't do it unless you really mean it in terms of passing. There's tons of people that seem to think that when they clap really far behind, that the person in front is responsible to completely make room. It's not until it gets close that you need to make the room, because you're just giving up a line. So don't let yourself get fooled that somebody clapped. Be aware, I'm not saying leave it to the super last moment, but use a clap when it really means that you're going to make contact. Otherwise it's like a horn and then you're just going to ignore it. People are honking in the streets of like Thailand, like Bangkok or whatever, then it's just drowns it out and it's pointless. Everybody's going to be doing that, so then you're just going to ignore clapping. So use it when it's critical.
Cool. I'd like to thank these guys for their efforts. To you guys. Give them a round of applause.